Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 206 for Tuesday, the 14th of May 2024. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby 360G, and joining me on this very fine evening is.
It's Graham, or GHamOx14, as everyone knows me as.
And that's it. No Nick.
Yeah.
No Darren this week.
It's quality over quantity, right?
It is, mate. It is. So Nick is busy with his lady friend. And
very nice.
Darren's at work, I think.
Oh, sure.
So, yes, it's just us. Now, some of you may have noticed there wasn't a podcast last week. Sad times. And that's because I've been poorly. I've still got a little bit of a cough. I've had this sore throat for about a month now. Pretty much since I come back from holiday. And I was really bad last week. So I couldn't record. And then I finally started a course of antibiotics this week. So I'm starting to feel better. Now, I still obviously have a little bit of a cough, but it certainly feels loads better now. And I feel like I've got more energy. Because I was so bad last week, mate, that I was felt all right in the morning, like energy wise, but I would get to around late afternoon, and I just feel like I've got no energy, and then I'd be nodding off at 8 o'clock in the evening,
Not
so
good.
Right, let's get it sorted out. So I did, but fucking state of the NHS in this country, mate, it's shocking. So I couldn't get a GP appointment for love nor money. So I had to go private and just get a consultation over the phone, and then they prescribed me just from a simple phone conversation. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh no.
Yeah, NHS is going down the pan, I tell you.
I don't think it'll exist in the next 10 or 20 years.
I think you're right. I think it is definitely heading that way. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, try to because my GPs, it's one of those ones you got to ring at 8 in the morning, and they run out of appointments that day. You got to ring again the next day and the next day, and you're on hold for fucking ages. So I rang them up in the morning, and it was like, you are 70 plus in the queue.
Wow.
I was thinking, fuck me, it's only a small GP. So I only have like 2 people sitting there, like on the desk.
Yeah.
Right, I'll be here all fucking day. And then I'll just get told to fuck off. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking hell. So.
Terrible. It's terrible, really.
It is terrible, and that's why, as I say, I mean, luckily I've got a level of private healthcare through my work. It's not as good as my previous job, though, because my previous job had Bupa. And that was really good. But with this one, I've got Medicash. But the problem with that is you've got to pay it all up front and then claim it back.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it's a little bit annoying if you don't have the cash to hand,
Well, at least you got seen anyway.
Yes.
Well, as such, phone call, but
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah. So,
it's a shame that you have to kind of go down that route to get what you want from, for your healthcare.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It never used to be like this. You go back, 10, 20 years for me, I'd ring up the doctors. I'd be like, yeah, no worries, we'll see you this afternoon at 2 or whatever, and you'd never had a problem,
Yeah.
I think some of it's a bit of a postcode lottery because I've moved around quite a bit, and some areas have definitely been better than others.
Yeah.
But I also think a lot of it is all these new houses are being built, and they're not putting in the extra infrastructure with extra GPs, extra schools, and stuff like that. So that's obviously puts the pressure on, and and I'm not going to begrudge new homes being built because I'm one of those
Yeah,
unlucky people
people.
who's now in his 40s and is stuck renting because I can't afford to buy a
Oh,
house because there's not enough houses and all the prices are jacked up. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I want houses to be built. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So yes, that is
yeah.
my position.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Oh well,
I
yeah.
know, I know. So that's my life story. We came here to talk about games. I'm just going to turn the light on, so just give me a second. Oh, I did
Yeah.
turn it on. It's on. It's like a fucking. I got one of these light bulbs right in my man cave, and it's one of them smart ones, and I can make it
Oh,
bright
it
with a
takes
dimmer
about
on
20
my.
minutes to warm up.
No, I had it on quite low. I thought it was off,
Ah,
but I had it on low, so I've just turned it up on my phone. Only one of them cheap
nice.
smart bulbs off Amazon. I've had it donkey's years. I'm not. I don't earn enough money to get one of those Hue ones. You know.
Oh God, no.
But,
Nice.
anyway, shall we talk about some Vigi games?
Absolutely, yes.
Cool. So
So,
I've got a few talking points. Got quite a bit of news. Played a few games, Graham. But I'll let you start off anyway,
yeah.
mate.
Yeah, well, I finished Spider-Man 2 last week.
Okay. Nice.
And I'm a bit mixed on it. Some of the story I thought was very good.
Yeah.
Some of the action just felt a bit like filler to me, honestly.
Okay. A lot of games are like that these
Uh,
days, though, aren't they?
but it's just things. I'm being really picky now, but
Hmm.
some of the sort of big boss fights, you'd sort of start fighting them, then it would kind of skip to a cutscene,
Yeah.
then it would put you back into the action and put their bar back at 100%. And there were
Ah.
some fights where it did it 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, I'd rather they just had a realist. Trouble is when I'm playing games, I'm sort of trying to do other things sometimes,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, right, oh, okay, one bar. I've just got to get this boss fight down, because I must say, towards the end, I was kind of
Hmm.
possibly rushing through it a little bit,
Yeah. So,
but it's
well,
like.
yeah.
It's like I want a realistic bar giving me an idea of how long this battle is going to be. So when you fight someone and you get the bar down to 0, and then you get a cutscene, and then you fight them, and then you get another cutscene, and then it goes back to the start again, for the third time. I'm like, oh, come on, that just feels like just let. I'm obviously an expert on making games, but it just
Yeah.
feels like lazy. It feels like lazy game design.
Well, a
It
lot of
just
games are
feels
doing
like,
this these days, though, isn't it? Especially these open world ones. They're just trying to push a lot of filler in so they can say, "Oh, our game's 100 plus hours, so you're getting value for money."
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think I blasted through the main story. I think I did it in about 20 hours. I did some of the side missions. The game was really good. I feel like they kind of I feel like they overcomplicated the combat more than they needed to, honestly. I found some of the combat just a little bit repetitive.
Okay.
With the first one, you had your dodge button if you parried it or dodged an attack. But, with this one, with the sort of dedicated parry on the L1, I found that there were occasions where, like I said, I think the other week, where I'm in battles and I need to dodge and parry at the same time because I'm getting the two sort of feedbacks. One's telling me I'm about to be hit by someone with a gun, and the other one's telling me there's an unblockable attack coming in. And I'm not sure which way to jump
Uh,
because I don't know which one takes the priority, and the timing is such that I don't know how they're going to come in with regards to sort of how quickly.
yeah.
And I just found it overcomplicated things just a little bit too much,
Yeah.
and it just
That's fine.
feels like they sort of added it because they felt they had to do something different this time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other than that, I thought the story was great. I mean, obviously, it's a well-presented game. The sort of puzzly bits in between, I thought weren't too bad, but I sort of they kind of cut those back because the first one it did that quite a lot, didn't it? You had like those in the first game you had the circuit diagram puzzles, whatever they were called.
Yeah.
This one they kind of had a lot of the chemistry ones where you had to kind of isolate the sort of the atoms in the chemical compounds or something, which I thought was quite good, and it wasn't sort of too intrusive. But
Yeah.
I mean, I picked this game up for sort of 45 quid. I finished it in a week. I traded it in. I got a good value for it, and I picked up a copy of Tekken 8 and paid only about 14 quid. So I'm happy.
Not bad, mate. Not bad at all.
Yeah, Tekken is down to like 40 quid in CEX at the minute.
That's not bad.
So I've given that a try, but I've only literally played a couple of hours. But
Right.
my initial impressions of it is it's pretty impressive, really.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's sort of I haven't played tons of stuff, but
Yeah.
that's one of the sort of two or three that I've kind of been chipping away at over the last week or so.
Nice. Well, it's nice to give your PlayStation a bit of attention, mate.
Exactly. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I always wanted to play Spider-Man 2. I've tried it, I've played it, I've finished it, and I can say that I've done that. Now, I didn't 100% it, but I thought it was a good game. It it wasn't an outstanding game.
Yeah.
It was good, but I think it's one of those where I think less would have been better
Yeah.
in terms of the mechanics, but that's just my opinion. I might be wrong, honestly.
Yeah. Fair dingles,
Cool.
mate.
So that, yeah.
From my end, mate, I mean, obviously it's been a couple of weeks, but I've hardly played anything. I just, because I've been
Not
feeling so
not well.
shit, I just
Yeah.
haven't been in, like, my gaming mojo's completely gone for single player story games where I have to concentrate, if that makes sense. So the
Yeah.
gaming I've been doing, I've just been dipping in and out of a few just kind of multiplayer, just easy, just pick up games, and I can drop them after 20 minutes. As you know,
Do
as an
you?
example.
I mean, do you think the fact that the sort of gaming news has been pretty bleak recently has sort of
Mm,
contributed to that in a way? Because I'm sort of feeling that way a little bit myself, if I'm
yeah,
honest.
yeah. Well, as I say, well, the news last week or so is definitely there's been a lot of negativity surrounding Xbox and PlayStation in particular for various different
Yeah.
reasons. Which we'll get onto very shortly, I imagine, because I've got them written down for the news section.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely been making me feel a bit down on it. But it's not just that, because I think for me, I think obviously because I've not been well, but I've got quite a backlog on Game Pass of games that I want to play.
Yeah.
Like Persona 3 Reload, Like a Dragonician, the Tomb Raider games are on there now.
Yeah.
Evil West, and what
Oh,
was
I
the other
like
one?
that.
Yeah, the Uwaiden Chronicles, which I started about three weeks ago. So it's not like I
Right.
don't have anything to play, single player wise.
No.
It's just I can't be bothered, and I don't know what it is, but I do think that there is a bit of a downer on the console industry at the moment. I think
Yeah.
Sony have not been looking very good either,
No.
um,
No.
which we'll get to in a minute as well. But also, on the PlayStation side of things this year, there's only really been a couple of bangers. You know, you had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and
Yeah.
then we've had what's it called with the chick, the half naked chick, Stellar Blade, which I haven't picked up because, you know, 70 quid to me now is a lot of money to spend on a video game. And I very rarely spend that much on a game on the best of days. I mean, obviously, I think I paid like 60 for Rebirth ish.
Yeah.
On what website did I use? I can't remember now. But I don't know. I feel like there's a few contributing factors, and I think one is obviously how I feel, but two is budget. You know, £70 for a video game is a lot of money. I was chatting to the missus about this in the car actually, because we've been out all weekend doing various things with the kids, and I was just saying, you know, petrol's expensive, rent's expensive, all the food shopping's gone up in price, electric and gas bills have gone up, like, you know, and it's just like I've got to really justify an extra 70 quid somewhere for that month on a video game, you know. You know, which is why, you know, I think the last game I bought wasn't Final Fantasy, even though I was 60 quid. It was Prodeus, because you spoke about it on a podcast. I think it was last week.
Yeah.
And that was like £1.40 on the CD keys. Yeah.
Nice.
So I could justify that. So, like, I think for me personally, I love my hobby. You know, gaming is a great hobby, but I'm finding it a lot harder these days to justify shelling out full price for games now. And I think, you know, the factors I've just spoken about, but obviously I've got 2 kids, they need stuff, you know, and now it's summertime, we're doing more things and spending more money going out and stuff, you know, it's not, you know, and you know, everyone's feeling the pinch. It's not just, you know, it's not just me by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
So I think there's a lot of factors for me personally, but I think it's being reflected in the whole entertainment industry as a whole. Because there's been some news, which I'll get to in the news section, and I'm kind of glossing over things at the moment about console sales across the board are way down, game sales are way down, and I think all those factors are contributing to it. There's no one thing that you can say, oh yeah, that's the reason. So you know, because at the end of the day, video games, like any you know, like anything else in the entertainment industry, it's a luxury. And if you don't have that extra cash for it, you don't fucking spend the money on it. You know, it goes on essentials. So, you know. So
I was going to say it almost feels like it's kind of everything's almost reached saturation point for a lot of things, and it almost feels like it's on the verge of a crash of some sort.
Yeah, I think
it really does.
Right. Because, you know, obviously, when Game Pass came out, you know, I was all for it because I was like, oh, it's going to save loads of money. We'll get all these games. So just pay monthly subscription. And obviously, from my point of view, back in the 360 era, I was renting games anyway. Because you know, I didn't want to because the amount of games that I went through, I'd never be able to afford to fucking buy them all, you know. So that was the only feasible way that I could, you know, get my gaming fix, you know, because I was mega addicted back in the glory days. But you know, I actually do. I think we've hit a point where it's actually where Game Pass in particular has had quite a negative impact on the industry. And I didn't think I would ever say that because obviously PlayStation has tried to copy it, but not to so much of an effect. But what I find when I load up Game Pass, because obviously I've got the app on my PC and obviously it's on the console and that, it's you kind of get there's a few things, right? You get the Netflix effect where you spend
Yeah,
about an hour just scanning through what shall I fucking play. You got too much choice. Whereas you think, like,
yeah,
back in the olden days, you'd buy a game, bring it home from the shop, and then that would be the game you play for like a month or two. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, you
uh,
nipped down to
yeah,
Blockbuster and they only had two, and you just picked one and went,
yeah.
"Wow, I'll try it."
Mm.
Because you had to. It was that, or it was that, or you didn't play anything.
Yeah. So there's that, but that's obviously not a financial thing, but it's just, a feeling thing. But I think
Yeah.
financially, I don't, well, we'll go to financials last and we'll talk about quality. Um,
Yes.
I think we've all noticed and we can't deny that this really stands out on Xbox in particular. Their first party titles have drastically gone down in quality since Game Pass has been a thing. And
Yeah.
that's obviously because those games come to Game Pass day one. So, you get that feeling that they're not putting in the effort to have as much of a polished product on launch day because they know that they're not vying for people to be spending 50, 60, 70 quid on a game on launch day. It's just going to be put onto a
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
And it really,
Yeah.
and I know I said this before, and it really makes me sad. And this is, I've been on Xbox since day dot, right, on the OG Xbox, right, massive fan of
Yeah.
the company, well, not of Microsoft, but of Xbox. And I've
Yes.
always been there. I've always been a bit of a fanboy. I will admit it. I had a whole podcast dedicated to the Xbox 360 for many years,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
massive fan, probably one of the biggest fans of Xbox ever. And it just makes me sad to see my favourite franchises just getting completely fucked up. Gears of War, Halo, Forza. The quality of those games has diminished massively. And those were the bread and
Yeah.
butter of Xbox. And it really makes me sad to say that because I have so many fond memories of those games and I want them to still be good. And I've completely
Yeah.
lost confidence in Xbox now, and this is someone who has two series consoles in my house. I've lost
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
confidence. There was a discussion in the Discord about it this morning, and Elliot mentioned the new Indiana Jones game coming out this year, and you're saying, "Oh, that'll be good," and I just replied and said, "I have no faith that that game will launch good at all."
Yeah.
And it's fucked. Like, go back 10 years, well, 10 years or so, I never would have said that about an Xbox exclusive.
But I mean, also the problem is Xbox closing studios.
Yeah,
People like Tango Gameworks,
yeah,
Hi-Fi Rush, Evil
yeah,
Within,
yeah,
all well-received hits, and they've
yeah,
been shut down.
yeah.
What's going on? I mean,
Stolen that out of my new
who's to
section,
say?
but there we go. That's fine.
Sorry,
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
but but who's to say? Machine Games release Indiana Jones, it
Yeah,
gets 9 out of 10. How
yeah,
confident are those developers they're going to have a job next year?
yeah.
Honestly,
I
at the
know.
moment, really, it's just
Yeah,
shocking.
yeah. It is fucked up, mate. It really is.
I just
I
don't I just don't understand or see what the plan is really.
no, and and I was quite surprised about that news about Xbox shutting down these big studios. Um, who like so Bethesda. So some of the Bethesda's, don't they? So yeah, so Arcane Austin, which made Redfall. Well, that wasn't a big surprise, right? Tango
Yeah,
Gameworks, though, who developed Hi-Fi Rush and a few other games in the past, right? Evil Within, as you say, and a few other
yeah,
games. They're a big. big, they pushed out some good quality games, and
Yeah.
you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Xbox 360 era when EA went through this period of buying up all these small studios and then within a year
Yeah.
or two just shutting them down and laying everyone off. It's
Yeah.
exactly what Microsoft are doing now. And it is fucking horrible to see because, one, it's never nice to lose your job at the end of the day. So I feel sorry for people that are going through that. But two, these studios made some really good quality games. So what's the point of spending all this money acquiring
Yeah.
studios and laying all the stuff? Was fucking pointless.
Yeah. Well, but why buy them if you're not going to use them?
Yeah.
Really? I really don't understand what the plan is at the moment.
No. And I think that for Xbox it's not going to their plan. I don't think Game Pass is making them as much money as they thought it would. Subscribers have plateaued now. It's no longer growing. I think that's a problem that they're now facing.
I thought it was going down.
Yeah, so obviously, it's pretty much guaranteed money every month, though. But obviously, they're a big company and I want to see,
Yeah.
that curve going upwards on their charts. Yeah, so that's quite interesting to see. So, what also I saw about this news is that these aren't going to be the last laughs that we see from acquired studios. Studios that Microsoft have acquired. So we're going to this year see some more studios shut down.
Wow.
And layoffs happen. But it just seems that Microsoft they just don't understand what they're doing at the minute, because one day after that they announced the studios being shut down, Matt Booty,
Yeah.
head
I
of
saw
Xbox
this.
Game Studios, put out a town hall where he was saying, we need smaller games that give us prestige and awards, very much like Hi-Fi Rush. It's like, well, if you need those games, why have you shut down your fucking studios that are really good at pushing those games out? Makes no sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
personally, as a massive fan of Xbox, this really makes me feel very down on the whole company at the minute. And what we're seeing is when Xbox was really good, and I'm talking about the OG and the 360.
Yeah.
It is a Microsoft product, but they were kind of left to their own devices, so they were kind of like their own entity within Microsoft. Yeah. Kind of a small band of renegades is how I saw it, right? And now it's feeling super corporate, with no soul, and this is where you see game studios become a disaster. You look at Ubisoft as a prime example of this, Graham. Yeah, back in great games, Ghost Recon and the Tom Clancy. Well, all the Tom Clancy games are amazing. Back then, Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six, and all that, and you look at it now, they put out fucking garbage, yeah, and it's all just fucking trying to chase the next trend because they think that's where the money is.
Chasing the next live service.
Yeah, and that's it. And this is the corporate viewpoint on video games, and unfortunately, that's not how you do it. Like, when you play a video game, a really good video game, you can feel the passion of the developers who made that game. If it's a really good game, the love, the passion. Like the very first Halo game, that was crafted with love. You could feel it as you were playing it. Fuck me, I love that game. Oh, so good. I still get goosebumps
Yeah.
thinking about it now, right? And
Yeah.
and you go back and look at interviews and stuff, and some of the stuff from Bungie back then, and now like young, just doing their thing, and they just wanted to make games for the love. And I think that's just been lost in the last
Yeah.
15 years, maybe. You know, I mean, obviously you still see it in certain games, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you see it more now in the PC space than the console space, because I think it's cheaper to make games on PC, and you get a lot more indie studios on PC, and they just pump their games out on Steam or whatever. So they're smaller. There's not thousands of fucking people making them. So I think I think the PC is kind of the only place now where you're seeing proper innovation still, and that love. I think for me, that's where I'm just getting a little bit fed up with my consoles at the moment, because I'm not feeling that love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it pisses me right off when I load up my PC and I'm like, oh, look, I've got all these cool games I could get on Steam and all these different variety of games which I can't get on the console. I mean, yeah, there's still great games on the console, but I don't have to pay to play online on my PC and as well, and that's something extra. And you know, I just wish the consoles. I mean, I don't. Obviously, I love technology moving on and stuff. You can't stand still, but I don't feel that love and passion in console games anymore.
No, I know what you mean. It seems to have gone very.
Yeah.
It is very corporate. It is all about what's going to sell.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is the people who are making the decisions on what's going to sell aren't necessarily the people who are doing the work.
No, well, they're not, are they? And to say this is the problem, right? So, and it's not just Xbox. I'm not going to just be bashing Xbox. I still hope they bring it back and sort things out. I really do hope they sort it out.
Sony are just as guilty. Sony are just as guilty at the moment.
Super guilty at the minute, funnily enough. Now, obviously, Sony have had some good exclusives this year, but they've all been third-party games, apart from Helldivers, which is kind of third-party, though, even though I think Sony kind of published the game, but they don't own the studio or something. I'm not really quite sure the ins and outs out. Obviously, PlayStation's have had a good few games this year, as I say, but none of them have been first-party titles. Now, I'm wondering where these when these first-party titles are coming, what they're going to be like, what's happening. Now, Sony are feeling very corporate as well now, and I think some of that has to do with their move from Japan to California. Biggest mistake that PlayStation have made, in my opinion.
Right, yeah.
Now, there's been this... So while we've been away, because I've been very, very ill, please feel sorry for me. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding Helldivers 2 on PC.
Yeah.
So I'll give a very quick rundown on what's happened. And I know a lot of console gamers don't give a shit, but it's actually I think it's quite important news, actually. And I know people don't care, but you should care. You know, I feel compassion for my fellow man, and I think you all should too. Now,
well, I've got a couple of friends who play on PC as well, who cross-play with me, you know, so it does affect people, you know.
Yeah. So, and I know a lot of people said it's not a big deal. So basically, what's happened was Helldivers has now been out for, a couple of months? And Sony they did put out a thing on the PC version saying, by the end of May, you will to continue playing Helldivers 2, you need to either create a PlayStation account or link your game to an existing PlayStation account. Doesn't sound too bad on the face of things, right? However, couple of things to note. For me personally, not really. I wouldn't really be super bothered because I have a PlayStation, so I have an account anyway.
Yeah.
For PC users, we're a bit more not savvy, I would say, but I would say a bit more security conscious and a bit more fucking hard headed than other gamers, right? So a lot of PC gamers are saying, well, I've been playing this game for a couple of months already. I can cross play with PlayStation. Why should I create a dedicated PlayStation account? Yeah. It's a valid point, right?
Yeah.
Now, some people say, well, fucking hell, just fucking take 5 minutes and make an account. You do it for Xbox games, you do it for Rockstar. And I can see that point of view as well. Yeah. I can see both sides.
Yeah.
However, on the PlayStation side of things, it gets a little bit more sinister, in my opinion. So basically, the reason that they wanted people on PC to sign up to PlayStation is because they wanted you to they wanted to make it easier to ban people from playing the game if they were horrible online, say in the voice chat or text chat or whatever.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just that. Like Sony have now patented a new technology which they are pushing out to PlayStation, where it automatically records all the in-game voice chats now on the games. Also, they put this technology out where it senses your tone of voice, so it can sense how stressed you are and stuff. And then they're going to be using AI to automatically ban users on their emotions. How the fuck that's going to work, I don't know, but that sounds fucking awful, in my opinion. But then there's also the other thing of people don't want to put their personal details, don't want to give their personal details to Sony because there's been quite a few data breaches of the PlayStation Network in the last 10 years. So they're all valid points, right? And the final point that I wanted to make, which I wanted to save till last, and I think it's a massively valid point, and if you don't care about these people, what sort of a person are you, right? PlayStation Network isn't available in over 150 something countries worldwide.
Yeah.
So Helldivers had been sold on Steam in these countries, so people who had purchased the game would no longer be able to play it. That is fucked up. Yeah. Now, people were saying online, well, they can just create a PlayStation account for a country that does have it. Well,
does that not defeat the object, really?
Well, it is actually against Sony's terms and conditions to do that. So, what do you do, right? So, I was chatting to some people on Discord and Twitter about this and stuff, and I was mentioning this, and people were like, I don't care. It doesn't affect me, I don't care. And I'm like, seriously, you don't care that people have paid for this game 35 quid or whatever, and now they can't play it anymore because of some stupid fucking account thing? That's fucking horrible, man. That's awful.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened was the PC community all got together as a bunch of geeks we are, and review bombed the hell out of Helldivers on Steam. And the good thing about this is you can only review games on Steam if you've purchased them. So they're all valid, in my opinion, right? And then was just constantly messaging PlayStation on the social medias and stuff like that. Anyway, this whole back and forth went on for a week or so. And then finally, Sony caved. Woohoo! And it's not happening now, which is really good, I think. Now,
wow.
I think if they had put this, if they'd made you do this on launch day, then I don't think there would have been a problem, because people would have said, well, I don't want to sign up to PlayStation and won't buy the game. And that would have been the end of it. There wouldn't have been any controversy. But they left it 2 months to fucking change this. I was fucking bang out of order, mate. You know? So there's that. So going forward, though, into the future, it's looking a little bit murky for PC gamers that want to play PlayStation games on the platform, because the next release is Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
And because Sony aren't happy, they've now doubled down. So to play Ghost of Tsushima online on launch day, but from launch day, you need to have a PlayStation account and log in and sign up or whatever. Fine, man, it's on day one. Whatever, at least people know now. But also, they are not allowing Steam to sell it in over 200 countries now because they don't have access to PlayStation Network. So they're purposely stopping themselves from selling games. Silly,
wow.
right? So where are PC gamers going to go to play this single-player game now? Oh, they're going to be sailing the high seas, aren't they?
Yeah.
Fucking Sony idiots. And I'll tell you what, if PlayStation was still based in Japan, none of this would have happened, I reckon. It's because it's in fucking shitty California. They don't know what they're fucking doing out there. They have fucked the brand big time. They really have.
Yeah.
And again,
wow.
I've always bought PlayStations since the PS1. Big fan, not as big a fan as I am of Xbox, but always love the exclusive games, love the hardware. And it feels to me that they're just trying to screw the players over. Obviously, they're not really screwing over their console players over, but they've made the choice to put their games out on PC, and they're fucking up their users in that space. So we'll see what the future holds for PlayStation. So it's interesting. Now, I'm not going to go through all the news now, but there is just one more bit of news that I wanted to talk about while we're on this subject. There was a little bit of news come out that I saw an article about how worldwide console hardware sales have dropped quite significantly.
Yeah.
And games in general as well. So I think this is where we're seeing Microsoft laying off people in studios. PlayStation obviously had their big layoffs earlier on this year as well. I think it's all coming to a head, right? You're seeing this. These layoffs are a reflection of the dwindling sales of systems and games on their platforms.
Yeah.
Now, funnily enough, Nintendo is still doing quite well. They're doing the best out of the consoles by the looks of things. But it said on this article I read that one of the reasons for the dwindling system of sales of systems for PlayStation and Xbox is there's been a big uptick in PC gaming and mobile phone gaming, of all things.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's strange, isn't it? That because you think PCs are very expensive, components, etc. But there's this massive uptick in PC gaming going on. Now, obviously, all of these people aren't going to be buying, all the super expensive stuff, obviously. But I just think that's quite interesting to see.
Yeah. I think it's because the indie scene's better over there.
Yeah. Well, and obviously games are a lot cheaper as well, right? So
Yeah.
Definitely got something to do with it there. So
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, while we're on this piece of news as well, obviously, I just wanted to mention. I just want to keep the similar things together. Um, so basically, going back to Xbox again, there's been some rumors coming out that there's a lot of internal infighting going on at Xbox regarding
Right.
two things: the price of Game Pass. There's quite a lot of people that want to raise the price, and then obviously there's a faction that want to keep it the price it's at the moment. And the other big fight they're having at the minute is obviously since Activision has been acquired, they're fighting over if they're going to put Call of Duty onto Game Pass or not.
Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be interesting.
yeah. Because I always thought, well, since they bought it out, they'd put all the CODs going forward onto Game Pass and then sell it on the other platforms still. But it sounds like they might just sell it on all the platforms separately.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
So, and last bit of similar news is about Remedy Entertainment,
Yep.
who released Alan Wake 2 last year. Now, they chose to bring it out digital, so this might skew it slightly. But apparently, Alan Wake 2 still hasn't recouped its development costs.
Wow.
So they are still at negative monies. How insane is that?
That is bonkers.
So,
Trouble is, though, is
yeah, go on.
well, it's just that if a game costs, I mean, what was the budget? They said Spider-Man costs something bonkers, like what did they say? Over 200 million to develop, or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many of you then got to sell at what price to turn a profit?
Yeah.
At what point, do games? At what point do games have to leap to, like, I don't know, 80 quid a game?
Yeah.
90 quid, whatever. And it's just like, where do you draw the line?
Yeah. I know, mate. It's fucking nuts. It really is. And I think games for me they've hit that peak where, I mean, already I won't buy them at that price now. And I think a
No.
lot of people feel the same way. So obviously, a lot of games are trying to go the route like Fortnite and Call of Duty, etc., where they're trying to make money from in-game items, skins, etc. And some of these games are doing very well from it, but we don't want every game to be a fucking live service game. Silly.
No.
I was playing Call of Duty with Colin yesterday, and I was having a look at the store, and I said in the chat, I said, this game is worse than fucking Fortnite now with the silly fucking character skins now. It's just ridiculous. Like, they've just got no shame now. I mean, they've got a fucking the latest one's a Cheech and Chong skin. Well, what the fuck?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah. How culturally relevant are they now exactly, really?
It's fucking ridiculous.
Or were they ever? But talking about that, I mean, I don't know. I was reading through the news earlier, and apparently it was news to Warner Brothers. I don't know if you saw this, that apparently Suicide Squad was a flop.
Oh,
And they reckon it's. But who saw that coming? Obviously everyone did, apart from Warner, and they're saying it has contributed to something like a 200 million loss for them for the financial year.
Wow.
So, I mean, I think within the space of about 3 weeks, the online player count for that game, concurrent players on Steam, was about less than 4,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, mate. And I didn't really talk about this a lot because I know it can be quite controversial. But I
Yeah.
like to keep up to speed on what's going on in gaming news as much as I can these days. I'm not as switched on as I used to be.
No, no,
Um,
no.
but like this game and other games that I've flippy flopped this past year or two have all hired this outsourced company called Sweet Baby Inc.
Right.
And basically, they get this firm to come in, and this firm go, oh, basically, they come in and wokeify the game. That's the easy way I say it. So they're like, oh, you've not got enough gay people in it, you've not got enough trans or black people in it, and they make them change the characters and make all the women ugly and change their outfits to cover them up and all this shit. Um,
Right.
and all these games that have been affiliated with this Sweet Baby Inc. have all flopped because they've been fucking garbage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised because that game they were heavily involved with it. So meh.
But the thing is, it's one on paper, it's one of those things. You go rock steady, and making this game from this IP.
Yeah.
You're like, that sounds like it could be good. And then you look at it on paper and they go, it's a live service game. When I saw that, my heart just sank. I'm like, it's
Well,
going to be shit.
yeah. I mean, I watched
I hope it isn't.
some comparison videos on YouTube about this, and these videos were comparing the last Batman game, so the same characters,
Yeah.
to this one, and the last Batman game, the graphics look way better, just in general, and the character models are just way better as well. It just told me everything I needed to know, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's just such a shame. I mean, I think they said at one point they had something like 10 times the player count playing Arkham Asylum on Steam than were playing playing Suicide Squad.
yeah, it's fucking weird. Like
And,
gaming is in
and to
such a
me, that's
weird place.
it. Really is.
Yeah, you
Anyway,
know.
two old men complaining
But
about
I'm
the
not really
games
complaining.
industry.
I'm not
No,
complaining at all. It's just
no.
it's just boggling my mind how gaming has gone from such a sweet spot. You know, I mean, it's not always been hunky dory going through the past in video games, not by any stretch of the imagination. But
No.
for me personally, I feel very lucky that I grew up, started off with an Atari, and I went from there, had the opportunity to play
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
NES, a SNES, and a Master System, a Mega Drive, and going from there, PlayStation, etc. Really, amazing games. There was no social media, no fucking politics. You just fucking enjoyed your hobby, and it was fucking great. And the 360 era for me is still the greatest era of all time because we all got online,
100%.
had a good
100%.
time, you know, and I made me laugh yesterday because I launched into Call of Duty with Colin, and this pop up came up on my screen, and it said, "Your voice, all in game chat is being recorded. Any swear words or whatever could be reported or whatever, right? Something to that effect." And I was like, fucking hell. Do you remember the old COD 4 lobbies back in the 360 days? They were just fucking carnage. And no one
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
and no one went off crying, oh, my feelings hurt. We just got on with it and thought it was funny, Now,
I think the trouble is it's everywhere, though, isn't it? It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I work in an office. And I tell jokes to co-workers, and they look at me and they go, you can't tell that one in the text chat that everyone looks at, otherwise you'll be getting a visit from HR." And I'm like, why is it a thing that you can't have a joke with your friends? Isn't the context of what you're saying just as important? Do you know what I mean?
Yep. No, I know what you're saying, mate. It's a crazy world we're living in at the minute.
Don't get it. I don't get it.
But, I think yeah, as I say, gaming is in a funny place at the minute. I'm hoping it does sort itself out, and I'm seeing some remnants of it sorting itself out on PC, 100%.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
But I think it's going to take a while. I mean, I don't, it's hard for me to predict what's going to happen with console gaming. You know, I think if it's to stay popular, it needs to something needs to happen quite drastic
Yeah.
because I think games are super expensive to make now. They need to sort that out. And I know there's talk of EA you trying to use AI to help make games, and that's going to be a fucking disaster. Um,
Yeah.
and it's just odd, you know. And this is why I've been kind of because I've been in my funny gaming mode anyway. I've been kind of just going back and playing retro games again, just to get that feeling, you know, and just to enjoy
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
enjoy shit, you know. And I've got all my emulators
I
on the
think that,
Steam Deck and my PC and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's why I think the boomer shooters, as they are doing so well
yeah,
because they're just uncomplicated gameplay. That's all it is.
yeah. And talking
You've
about
got no
boomer
currency.
shooters, no current. Yeah, sorry, mate.
Sorry, there's no currency. There's
Yeah,
no transactions. There's no skins. You just get in, you pull the trigger, and you shoot big guns at
aliens.
aliens or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just fun and it's just stupid, and that's what games always were to me. Just a bit
Mm,
of an escape, really.
yeah, yeah. You know, and I look back to some of my favourite first-person online shooters. Um, one of my most played ones was on the original Xbox. Return to Castle Wolfenstein,
Yeah,
and that game, no word of a lie, I was playing that online for well over a year. I just loved it, just
yeah,
constantly playing Beach Invasion, just because it was fun, and that was it. It was just a good fun time, and I'm trying to recapture that again at the minute. I've been playing a lot the last couple of weeks of Counter Strike 2 on Steam.
yeah,
So
yeah,
obviously it was Counter Strike Go, but they've now called it 2, and they've updated some of the graphics. And I know it does have some of the predatory stuff of skins and stuff like that, but
yeah,
it's not COD level. It's like literally just some weapon skins, yeah. Which I haven't bought any because
yeah.
I'm not a fucking mental case. Um, but it's one of those games. It's just that classic style of first-person shooter. You got two teams. You got like plant the bomb or whatever, and you just go out and have a bit of fun. And I've been really enjoying playing that the last couple of weeks because I can just switch my brain off and just go and have fun, you know. And so that's why I've
Yeah,
been playing that
yeah,
when I've just been on my own because I can dip in and out, and obviously COD with Colin and Peebs and Gavin and stuff, and that's been really fun. Um, but there's only one more bit of news, mate. So I might as well just talk about it now. So then the segment's out of the way. And talking about
yeah.
making money and stuff. So EA, go back to EA. Then we
Our
just
favourite,
mentioned them.
our
They are,
favourites. Yeah,
yeah. At the minute, they are looking at putting
yeah.
adverts into
Adverts.
their games.
Yeah.
Now, that's not actually the first time they've done this. Do you remember a little
No, it
game
happened
called
with.
Dragon Age 2? Do you remember this?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
remember there was a certain NPC, you went and spoke to them, and they would try to sell you an expansion pack. You remember this? I remember it so well.
Vaguely. Vaguely.
But obviously, this is external adverts for, say, hair shampoo or whatever. Um, Obviously, it's not happened yet, but they're going to try to do it.
But didn't
Be quite interesting to see.
Burnout Burnout Paradise City, I'm sure on the Xbox 360 had some billboards for real life products in it at some point.
Yeah, so
It
I'm
was one
actually
of the
just reading
racing
this.
games.
So it says here in 2008, I didn't know this actually. Burnout Paradise featured political
Yeah,
ads for Barack Obama in the game.
yeah,
What
and I
the
think
fuck?
it.
I had no idea about this.
And at one point, I think in one version of it, it might have been the remaster or something, or one of the mid versions. It had like sort of billboards for deodorant or something at one point. I'm fairly
Oh.
sure. But no, so I mean, if it's like that, it's maybe not so bad. But
Hmm.
it depends on how they do it, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely.
I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But I just thought it was quite interesting to mention. Um, apparently, there's been adverts on Battlefield, but I've not seen them, so they can't be very good.
Uh, I haven't played a lot of Battlefield, so I don't know.
I played it on Thursday. We got our Thursday night gaming sessions again, and we played
Nice.
for this last Thursday. It
Yeah.
was really good fun, actually. It was really, really good. So you should download it and join us.
Fun times. Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that. I'll see if I
Yeah,
can get on it.
yeah. Me, Clarky, Rooski, and Ninja Rods. So we had a full squad, which was nice. So yeah, it was good fun.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll have to
Yeah,
check it out.
yeah. So have you
Nice.
played anything else, mate?
I have played a couple of games which were on the PlayStation. Was it the middle subscription tier? I
Yeah,
downloaded a couple of games that, well, as I said, I picked up Tekken 8. I've only played that for maybe an hour or two.
yeah.
But I've downloaded a couple of games off the middle tier of PlayStation. I've downloaded and tried the Guardians of the Galaxy game.
That's really good.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought the action and I thought the script was really good, and the banter between the characters was entertaining. It's
Yeah,
some of the puzzles I got a little bit stuck with. A couple of them
yeah,
I did end up having to look up, but once you sort of get the idea of how the puzzles work, you sort of have a bit more of an idea going forwards.
yeah.
But no, I mean it's a free download. I thought I'd give it a try. In fact, there's
Nice.
quite a few games on there I wanted to try. And I also downloaded Returnal as well, which I've given a bit of a try to.
Nice. Yeah, it's good as Returnal. Hard though.
I'm trying to I'm trying to wrap my head around the lore at the moment and the systems, but
Yeah.
it's definitely it's a good looking game, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous, mate. It really is. Apparently, it's got co-op as well. I never knew that before a few weeks ago.
It's got online co-op. It's when you go into the world, there's like an orb in your starting area just before the first door,
Right.
and if you walk into it, you can trigger your online co-op.
Right. I'm guessing that was added on because that was definitely
I
not
would,
there when I
yeah,
played it.
I would guess so. I mean, this game it feels a bit like Dark Souls for shoot 'em ups
Yeah, it
almost.
is. Yeah, with a bit of a
It's
bullet
got that
hell
sort of
added in
vibe.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of got like the lore and the items, and it doesn't sort of really explain what a lot of the things are until you
Yeah.
pick them up and try and use them, and it's sort of learning the systems and learning the world, isn't it? But
Yeah.
no, I mean, again, middle tier of PlayStation Plus, so I've sort of downloaded them, had a bit of a play with them, and you know, both sort of fun games worth having a look at.
Nice. Awesome, mate.
And that's pretty much really all I've played over the last
Okay.
week or two, really.
Okay. Well, I've played a few different things. So, I've been still playing Balatro, the card
Oh yes,
game. I've finally, after like 25 hours of playing it, managed to finish a run.
you've won one. Yes.
Yay! I think this game has quite a lot of luck to it, to be honest, because it all
Yeah,
depends on the
yeah,
Joker cards you get that give you your buffs and these planet cards that give buffs to certain hands you put down and the cards as well.
yeah.
But it's good fun, mate. It's just very chill because I just sit on the sofa and play it on the Steam Deck. And
Yeah.
it's just a lot of fun, you know. So
It's probably a
highly
perfect game
recommend
for
it.
Steam Deck, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a perfect
Is it?
Steam Deck game, mate. Yeah.
Is it only on PC or is it anywhere else?
That's on Xbox and PlayStation.
Oh, is it? Okay, I'll have to check it
Yeah,
out.
and it's soon coming to
Nice.
phones as well.
Oh yeah, I heard that. That sounds
Yeah,
like a good. That sounds like it could be a good fit, really.
yeah, so that's cool.
Nice.
Um, been playing quite a bit of Rocket League this week. Strangely,
Oh, nice.
I just felt like playing it because it's, as I say, it's quite an easy pick up and play. Been playing it both on my Xbox and my Steam Deck. Marcus has been having a little go as well. And it's just, I'm
Nice.
shit at it. I'm so shit. I still can't figure out the whole making your car fly and hitting the ball. Because I find the view
Yeah.
like you know when you got it on ball cam, I just struggle to like line my car up. I just sometimes it doesn't twig. And then when I have it on the other mode, it feels like the whole screen feels quite jerky. So I leave it on the ball cam.
Right.
But I still really enjoy it. But I get really angry, and that's why I only play like a game or two because if we're getting beaten bad or my teammates are shit, I'm like fucking wankers, shouting at the screen, and I'm like, oh bloody hell, I need to turn this off. I'm getting a bit angry here. So yeah, and
Cool.
then funnily enough, old games, mate. I've been going back to PUBG this week on the
I've seen a
PC.
few adverts for it online, actually.
Really?
I think it's having a little. Yeah, I think it was PUBG that I saw the advert for. I was
Oh,
kind of not paying attention. I'll have to
all
look it
right.
out and see if I can find it for you. But
Okay.
no, is there many people still playing it?
Mate, it's still the most popular Steam what's it called? Battle Royale.
Oh, really?
It's fucking always busy, mate. Yeah, really busy. So the problem with PUBG that I found and when I drifted off it is they they put a lot of support into it, which isn't a bad thing, but they've added quite a lot of maps. And there's no way now of choosing what map you're on. You just go into the playlist and it gives you a random map. And I always just enjoyed playing on that original map because it was just really good. Now, what they're doing from the 14th to the 28th of May, which I'm really excited about, is they're bringing back the original map called Erangel Classic. Because the original map, they changed it slightly.
Yeah.
And it's just on a rotation. So what it looks like is you'll just be able to choose that map, like the original version of it, and just go in and play that map. So really
Yeah.
looking forward to doing that. Yeah, and it just plays so good. You know,
I think.
they
Yeah, I
really
think I have seen adverts for this event.
cool. Yeah, because they really fucked up the console version. They made it really clunky, but on PC it's just so smooth.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm going to be on that this week coming. Yeah, it's really really good.
Nice.
So I lied earlier when I said I'd only bought one game, as I just remembered. Um, I bought a game for me and the kids to play off Amazon. It was only £12 in the sale, so I bought it. Sonic Superstars.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's the latest Sonic game. It's a side scrolling one, but some really nice cartoony graphics. But you can
Okay. Yeah.
play the whole game 4-player couch co-op,
Oh, nice.
which is really good. So obviously it's quite fast. So if you're like trailing behind, you go into like this bubble and you just appear near the players again, which is really handy when your 3-year-old daughter is trying to play and is way
Yeah.
behind. But it
Yeah.
work.
So
It
she's
just
got a
work.
bit of a. Yeah.
Yeah, but it works well, mate. It really does. And it's not old map. It's not the old maps at all. It's like newer versions, but you got like your green zones and your kind of casino zones, but they're not the ones that we know. They're just newer ones, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just really good. You can play as loads of different characters. It's just classic Sonic, really, but you can play it co-op, and they've remixed all the special zones as well. So you've got like the remember in Sonic 1, you went into the ring above the checkpoint and it put you in that kind of maze thing that moved around. It's got them, but
Yeah.
they're remixed. And then you've got,
Oh wow.
yeah, then there's some other ones where you got to swing around and stuff as well. It's quite fun. So yeah, I really recommend it. For 12 quid, I had to pick it up because I was thinking of buying it only about a month ago and it was like 25, 30 quid. So 12
Yeah.
quid, I thought, I've got to do it, you know? So
Give it a try. Yeah.
yeah, it's really good. Well, because I did play the demo with Marcus a little while ago because I've got a demo on this consoles and we really liked the demo. So I was keeping an eye
Yeah.
on it. Yeah, it's really good. I really recommend it if you've got kids, especially, and you want to play couch co-op. It's really good because as you know, long gone are the days where there's loads of good couch co-op games anymore. So they're quite a rare treat.
Yeah.
So because our couch co-op games consist of Worms and Sonic now.
Nice.
So yeah, it's all good. And the last couple of games I've
Awesome.
been playing, just very quickly, is iRacing. I had a bit of time off, but I
Right.
did a race today, and I really enjoyed being back on it. I just got to really be in the mood for it. And when you're ill, I don't want to play, but so I'm feeling a bit more perky
You,
now. So that and Gran Turismo 7, still really enjoying that because they've got the weeklies as I mentioned before. So I just bang out all my weeklies in one day and put it down for another week. So um, all is
yeah.
good. And that's been it, mate. Really.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, I do tell a lie. I very, very quickly touched on another PS Plus game.
Oh
I
yeah.
played Teardown. Teardown.
Mm. My boy
Have you
loves
played this?
Teardown. Well,
It's
Marcus
great.
has
I
played it for
like
about
it.
50 hours. I've
I went
watched
round
him
a
play it
friend's
out.
house and he was playing it, and I happened
Yeah.
to see it was on the free tier, so I've downloaded it and I've just sort of mucked around with it. I've done some of the missions, but I haven't done a lot of the missions. I've
Yeah.
just been sort of messing around with sandbox mode, but that game's very interesting, and that's sort of what we're talking about in terms of like PC indie. You wouldn't get a
Yeah.
game like that, I think, being written on console, really, would you?
No. Well, what's quite funny about that is I downloaded it on PlayStation for him, but he's been playing it loads on PC. So the way he plays it on PC is I put it on the Steam Deck and I dock it with a mouse and keyboard and a
Yeah,
monitor. Sometimes he plays it on my PC, but mainly on the Steam Deck. And the thing with the PC version is it's got so many mods; it's unbelievable. So he really
I
likes
bet. Yeah,
So he really likes putting all these mods on and going into sandbox mode. And there's mods like dropping in a T Rex dinosaur and you can blow it up. And there's loads of Star Wars stuff and bits and pieces like that. So he likes just dropping all
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff in and all the different maps and things and just going mad on it. Whereas on PlayStation, you can't. It doesn't have all that, you know.
It's a shame.
so yeah, he put it on PlayStation. He was enjoying it, but he was like, "Daddy, I much prefer the PC version because it's got mods." And I was like, "Oh my god, you're such a PC nerd already." But it's
You
awesome.
taught him well. You
Yeah,
taught him
taught him
well.
well. Yeah, but no, it's a great game, mate. It's a lot of fun. Because I like the campaign, as you say, because you got to break into things without setting alarms off, and you get time limits and bits and pieces. It's a good game.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely fun. Definitely
Yeah,
sort of one of those old style of games. But
yeah.
no, I say that's it. That's really all I've played over the last couple of weeks, really.
Nice, mate. Um, and that's all the news. We've done all the news.
Yeah.
That's it. I think we're it. I think that's it, dude. All
Well,
done.
that was a quick one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Was that less than just over an hour, wasn't it?
yeah, mate. That's all good.
Yeah, decisive. There you go.
Yeah, that's it, mate. All done. So I think summer's always a bit of a lull, anyway, because it's obviously
Yeah,
sun's out. We want to be outside. Less games are coming out. I don't really think there's much on the near it coming out in the near future anyway. Obviously, Hellblade 2's out for those people that want to play that. I'm personally not interested because I didn't like the first game.
I wasn't mad on it, honestly.
So I don't. I might try and clear that backlog a little bit. But I'm kind of really loving the retro stuff of my emulator. So I did fire up my emulators again. So I've got a Xbox emulator on my PC now and an Xbox 360 emulator. And they work really well. And I downloaded a few games. So one of them I've been playing is Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast on the OG Xbox. And the reason that I think it's this one, it's been delisted.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
it was on the original Xbox.
I'm just trying to
Sumo Digital, isn't it? I think
it just says Sega, but I'm pretty sure this one was the one that they delisted it. And, yeah, it was by Sumo.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
Because I had it on PSP and Xbox. I think.
Yeah.
It was a good game. It was a really good game.
Yeah, because it did have online as well. So the online servers went offline in 2010, but the game they delisted it from the online stores and everything, so you can't actually buy it anymore. Not even on PC either. So I thought I'd give that a go.
Really?
It's still it's a lot of fun, mate. It really is.
Yeah, I always really liked that game.
Yeah.
Definitely worth playing.
You can download it on PC, actually, if you were interested, on a website called myabandonware.com. So basically, this is all games that like being delisted and stuff like that. It's kind of like an archive of games, right? And you can just download it for free. Yeah. So that might be worth. I did actually download it on PC, but I've not installed it.
Cool.
So I might actually extract. Oh yeah, because it's in a zip file. I need to bloody. I need to sort it out. Actually, yeah. I just remembered that. Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, so I'm really back into my retro stuff, as I was trying to say. So I just got a little bit distracted. So I found out about this. So obviously I've got my Steam Deck, but it's quite big. So I was thinking, I'd really like a smaller handheld. And Elliot had been talking about this system he bought last year called the Miu Mini Plus. It's basically like a Linux. It runs on Linux, I think. It's like a little handheld, but it's basically you can just dump a load of emulators and ROMs onto it, and you just play them,
right?
You know, like Game Boy, DS, SNES, and all that. And it's only like 40 quid. And it looked quite good, especially like if you wanted to play, because it's shaped like a Game Boy. Yeah. I was thinking, that looks quite cool. Put it in your pocket. And then I was reading about this other one called the R36S, and it's basically like the Miu Mini, but it's a little bit more powerful.
Right.
Same shape, but a little bit bigger, and it's got two thumbsticks as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've ordered that. Still waiting for it to come, and then I'm gonna just put some emulators and ROMs onto it and use it as like a little Game Boy. So that'd be quite fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I've got the emulators and ROMs on my Steam Deck, but it's just because it's quite big. I don't take it out with me anywhere really, just because it's the size. No. So something that size would be perfect, you know. So I'm quite looking forward to that coming, actually. I'll
Yeah.
let you know when it
I
comes
see.
and what it's like.
I'd be interested to see what it's like. I
Yeah,
know
well,
there's like a lot of these Android-based devices out there. I don't know, or similar.
yeah. Yeah, there's loads of them out there, but that one and the Mio Mini's like one of the most highly rated ones, but because it doesn't have the thumbsticks, it just kind of put me off. And when I read that this one is more powerful and has the two thumbsticks as well, I was kind of like, okay,
You were sold, yeah.
yeah, because I watched a few review videos and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this actually looks really good for a little cheap unit, really, you know."
Yeah,
And obviously, it's just
nice.
something to if the kids want to, and so if the kids like it, it'll be I'll get a couple more for Christmas presents or something. Just chuck a load of Game Boy games on
Perfect,
them, job done, isn't it?
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I
nice.
think retro gaming has come a long way, you know,
Yeah,
and emulating, because you think you could only really do it on PCs back in the day, and then it moved on to obviously the original Xbox. You could put Linux on and do it, and then it went to the Raspberry Pis, etc. But actually, just doing it on a little handheld that's really cheap, I think that's really cool. So that's just
awesome.
me just mumbling on. So
No,
yes,
it's all good. It's
it's all
all
good.
good.
Yeah. So I think on that note, mate, we'll end it here, and then I'm going to try out Outrun quickly while I'm in here. And try out the Outrun PC
Sounds
version I've
good.
just extracted. So thank you
Sounds,
very much. It's been amazing, Graham. Thank you so much for coming on.
that's all
Um,
right.
so from all of us here, it's been awesome, and for you listening, I hope you've had a lovely time listening to us. And don't forget to subscribe to that Patreon if you wish to contribute financially and get some extra episodes and stuff. It's all there at patreon.com/360gamercast. So from both of us here, it's been amazing. We will see you next week. Goodbye.